What's up, guys? Coaster Phils here. Recently, the new Six Flags Entertainment Corporation has not been afraid to close coasters from their parks without any warning. King the Ka, Green Lantern, Nighthawk, La Vibora, Anaconda, Time Warp, and most recently, both Kid Flash coasters. Because all these coasters have sudden closures, I will be going over my predictions for the next Six Flags coaster to go from every single park. This coaster removal can be tomorrow or in 10 years, but either way, I will be trying to predict the next one as I go. Since this video will be already kinda long, this video will be split into two parts, with this part being the Six Flags part and the next part being Cedar Fair. With that said, let's begin. Starting with Six Flags America. This park has a lot of coasters that could have limited time left. A lot of these coasters aren't exactly popular with the public and are kinda old, such as Roar or Firebird. These coasters are both pretty decent candidates to go, however, my pick for this list is Batwing. With Nighthawk already closing down, this leaves Batwing as the last Vekoma Flying Dutchman left. Batwing also has a lot of experience with technical issues, just like Nighthawk had. This coaster has a reputation of always being closed down, and it looks like a good ride, but unfortunately, it looks like an easy choice for the next one to go. Frontier City is one of, if not the most neglected park in the entire chain. This park isn't even owned by Six Flags, and rather just operated by them. This park may not be a Six Flags park for much longer, but as of now, Diamondback easily seems like the most likely to close first. The ride has had a ton of mechanical issues throughout the years, and there have been even rumors popping up that Diamondback may stay closed for the rest of the 2025 season. I don't know how reliable those rumors are, but I do know that Diamondback is an easy pick for next to go at this park. Ronde in Montreal, Canada is widely considered to be one of the worst parks in the chain. This park is infamous for bad coasters, and in the end, I almost chose one with the relocated SLC. But in the end, I chose Monster. This coaster is widely considered as one of the roughest and worst coasters in Canada, and with this horrible reputation, I feel like it's a matter of time before it gets removed. I hope this park will RMC it, however, I just can't see it happening, and I think this coaster will altogether get removed. Six Flags Darien Lake is an interesting park that has gone in and out of the Six Flags chain a few times now. Because of this, many coasters at the park don't seem to fit what coasters Six Flags likes to prioritize and keep. There are many coasters speculated to close, like Predator or Tantrum. However, I feel like Motor Coaster is a good choice for this list. Motor Coaster is a ride that apparently hasn't experienced a lot of downtime throughout the years, and it doesn't seem likely for Six Flags to keep this coaster. If Darien Lakes remains in the chain, I can't see this one staying. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom probably has the biggest restriction out of any park on this list, as they have an extremely strict height limit of 150 feet put in place. Because of this, the rides that are built here are restricted, and they have to get creative in the way they make them. In 2001, they built Flash Vertical Velocity. This coaster has some really weird elements compared to the average Impulse, and it overall is a really interesting ride. The ride over the years has had a ton of issues, however, being broken down more than it's open. On top of the mechanical issues, the Impulse is a dying type of coaster, but this ride has been SPNO since January of 2024, more than an entire year. Because of this, I feel like Flash Vertical Velocity is an easy pick for the next to go at Discovery Kingdom if it ever even opens again. Six Flags Fiesta Texas is widely considered as the most beautiful Six Flags park, and with this label, it could easily get rid of a lot of rides that could make the park look uglier. With this park constantly getting new quality coasters, I think an older, lower quality coaster like Boomerang is an easy choice to go. Not only is this the oldest thrill coaster at the park, but it usually gets smaller weights compared to everything else. Another good option could be Pandemonium, but I think that currently satisfies the park's need for a family coaster, especially with Kid Flash closing this year. Six Flags Great Adventure is going off a horrible 50th anniversary, with two of the best coasters closing, and the failed opening of the new ride, Flash Vertical Velocity. Because of these recent removals and failures, this park will be the hardest choice for me to pick a coaster to go. I really don't think anything here will be removed anytime soon, so I had to pick Skull Mountain. I don't think this will be removed for a long time. However, I think this is one of the least popular rides in the park, and I feel like Six Flags doesn't have as much demand to keep this compared to others like El Toro. My home park, Six Flags Great America, was another hard choice for me to pick from because I honestly don't think any of the park's coasters will be gone soon. If I did have to pick one, it would go down to 3 coasters. Demon seemed like the obvious choice, but after Raft's layout basically was working around it, I don't think that it'll be it. American Eagle is always talked about as a great RMC candidate as well. However, I think similar to Demon, it will stay, especially now that it's an ace coaster landmark. That leaves me with my last coaster, and I think just like Discovery Kingdom, Vertical Velocity will be the next to go here. I don't think it will happen soon, but I don't really see a reason for it to stay at the park for another decade or so. The Impulse is a dying model, and in a park type for space, I think it'll be unfortunately the next to go. Six Flags Great Escape is another one of the most neglected Six Flags parks. However, last year, they finally got a new coaster in Bobcat. Since they got that, I don't think there's a need to add or remove anything anytime soon. That being said, there is an extremely hated older coaster at the park that could be a good coaster to remove. The park does want to eventually replace it the way they did with Alpine bobsleds. Steamin' Demon is widely considered to be one of the very worst aerials in the United States, and I don't think anyone would be disappointed to see it leave the park. Whether this will happen or not, I don't know, but this is my best shot for a Great Escape. Six Flags Magic Mountain is the park with the most coasters on Earth, and because of this, it has a lot of candidates to be removed. There are many older rides like Viper or Ninja that just aren't as popular anymore, and there are rides that are expensive and unreliable like X2 that even after removals like King the Cock could be at risk. However, I ended up going with Superman Escape from Krypton. Escape from Krypton is a combination of the 2 scenarios I just mentioned, as not only is it a not very popular ride at its park, but it's also very unreliable and expensive to operate. The ride's layout is just an 100-mile-per-hour launch into a spike, then the ride is over. Not exactly the best layout, and especially considering the fact that they got rid of King the Ka, which was a way better ride with similar costs and more popularity, I think it's just a matter of time until this ride is gone. The ride has already been SPNO, and it's been like that since September, so we will see if it ever opens again. Six Flags Mexico is probably the park I am the most unfamiliar with throughout the entire chain, so making a decision like this was hard to do. Before last year, I probably would have gone with the park's Boomerang, but this year, it just got a brand new theme and name, which is Batgirl. Due to this change, I now believe the next coaster will be Tsunami, the park's family coaster. This coaster is quite old, and I really don't see another reason for this to stay at the park. It would make much more sense to get rid of this, especially since the park is getting a family Boomerang this year. Six Flags New England is widely regarded as one of the best parks in the Six Flags chain. However, the people who have been there have described it to be very top-heavy in terms of their lineup. Because of this, it would make sense for the park to remove bad rides and replace them with better supporting coasters, like we are seeing with Quantum Accelerator this year. The plot next to Quantum Accelerator is Flashback's plot. Flashback is often regarded as one of the worst coasters in the park, and it just makes sense to replace this coaster with something better. The park could also remove the Wild Mouse Gotham City Gauntlet, as now the Quantum Accelerator is in the park, there's no need for this to stay here. However, I do think Flashback will be, unfortunately, the first of the 2 to go. Six Flags Over Georgia is the most recent park in the chain to lose a coaster, that being Kid Flash, of course. Because of this recent loss, it was very hard for me to choose the next coaster to go. I ended up landing on another ride, one of the park's smaller coasters, Joker Funhouse Coaster. With Kid Flash recently getting removed, I think this does kind of make a little less sense, but I recorded this before, so I'm just going to keep it as is. This park is in desperate need of a new family coaster, and I think the removal of this ride could help open the plot for a new addition. This coaster's lineup honestly looks like one of the most underrated in the chain, and I feel like any type of new family investment would be very welcome here. Six Flags Over Texas also recently lost a coaster. That was La Vibora. Similar to my proposal for New England, they are removing this ride to try and improve the lineup, with a new record-breaking dive coaster that many people could say be a giga. With Over Texas already removing rides like this, I feel like a great choice for this list is Runaway Mountain. This park has been getting a lot of investments lately, and this might just be another plot that would open up for a better coaster. Finally, we arrived to our final entry, and it's Six Flags St. Louis. This park has a lot of coasters that have been rumored to close. The Boomerang has experienced a ton of mechanical issues over the years. The Boss is most likely the United States' #1 best RMC candidate and is very hated by many. But I decided to go with a different coaster, and that's Ninja. This era Vekoma hybrid is also very hated by quite a few, and many people who have visited the park have asked for the park to replace it with something more modern. I do think this coaster is definitely on the way out and being replaced with something more modern. Thank you all so much for watching, and please subscribe to watch part 2 and for more content like this. Thank you. Bye.